you, my brother?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Hope you're keeping well, man.
I'm
I'm not
doing
here
well.
to debate or curse or anything like that. I'm not here to try and win an argument or anything like that, yeah? So I'm going to keep it
Okay.
civil. Um, I
I
just
like that.
I just popped over your thing and I saw, why do Muslims reject the prophets? I was a
Yeah.
bit curious about that because Islam accepts more prophets than Christianity and Judaism put together.
Oh, really? Okay. So I understand the beliefs, right, of Islam. It's, you know, you say that you believe in the prophets, but you can't say that you believe in the prophets yet reject their message. Wouldn't you agree?
100 million%.
All right. So the reason why I have this title is because in my experience in talking with Muslims, and so I'm not saying this to every Muslim, but in my experience in the general sense, when I've been speaking to Muslims and I read to them what the prophets say, they reject it. They reject what the prophets say, you know?
What?
And so I have an example here
Yeah.
that I like to give you. And, you know, I don't treat every Muslim the same. You might be different,
Yep.
but I'll see if you accept. So you believe in David?
Right? Dawood, yeah. We call him Dawood.
And the Psalms that he was given, right?
Zabur, we call it.
That's right. Yep. That's right. So I'm going to read out of the Zabur, and this is what it says here in chapter 22, Psalm 22. It says, I'm going to start at the 14th verse. It says this. It says, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within my breast. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death. For dogs encompass me. A company of evildoers encircles me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. I count all my bones. They stare and gloat over me. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing, they cast lots. So who do you think David is talking about here? This person who had his hands and his feet pierced, who's surrounded by his enemies who are mocking him and ridiculing him, rejecting him, and who even strip his clothes and gamble over his clothes. Who do you think this sounds like?
First of all, my brother, you're a very, very good reader, you know. Like,
thanks.
You got your way of pointing things across, but now I'd like to ask you, where did you get that from?
This is Psalm 22.
Who wrote it?
David.
David wrote it?
Yeah, the Zabur.
And who's protected it from being changed? Because we Muslims, we believe the Bible's been changed, right? That's the only reason we don't.
I understand that. I just wanted, before we get there, and that's an interesting point to make. Before we get there, I want to know just who did this sound like to you that David
is talking
about?
I haven't got a clue, mate, because I don't know who wrote it.
Well, you don't have to know who wrote something in order, for example,
the reason
I don't know who wrote the Quran. I don't. But in chapter 7, verse 157, it says this: those who follow the unlettered prophet, whom they find written in the Torah and the gospel with them. All right. Now, the unlettered prophet, if you were to ask me who that sounds like, I can tell you, oh, that sounds like it's talking about Muhammad. You know, even though I don't know who wrote the Quran, nor do I believe in the Quran. But that verse, it rings a bell of like, oh, yeah, it sounds like it's talking about Muhammad, the unlettered prophet. He's the one who's illiterate. He's, you know, he couldn't read or write, you know, it's said that we could find him in our scriptures. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But do you have a belief that the scriptures may have been changed? No,
I don't.
No?
I'll tell you why in a second. But first, I want to see if you can do the same thing that I was able to do with the Quran. You know, just hearing the text that David said. Who did that sound like to you? Who had his hands and feet pierced, encircled by his enemies? They ridicule him. They reject him, and they even take his garments and gamble over them. Who does that sound like to you?
I don't know, man. Well, according to what my belief is, it wasn't Jesus.
Why are you saying it wasn't Jesus? I didn't say it was.
Because Jesus wasn't crucified. According to Islamic belief, God loves his prophets. He didn't crucify.
I
He didn't
got
get
you.
crucified.
Does it sound like this is talking about someone who was crucified?
It could be someone. It wasn't Jesus.
I'm not asking that. I'm just asking, does it sound like someone who was crucified?
It could be. Doesn't say he was put up on a cross.
I didn't ask that. Does it sound
But-
like someone who was crucified, bro?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. So
No.
when it says here that they have pierced my hands and my feet, what kind of action is that?
What do you classify as crucifixion? Is it not when you get put on a cross?
It's when you get nailed with your
To a
hands and
cross.
feet to a cross.
To a cross. Did it
Yeah.
say cross?
It doesn't have to. It says nailed hands and
Nailed.
feet.
Does it say cross?
Why? I'm going to ask you something.
But you're talking
Why
about
did,
crucifixion.
why did you automatically say, when I asked you, who does this sound like to you? Your reaction was,
I don't know, brother.
Wait.
because I'm not
Your
knowledgeable.
reaction was,
I'm not knowledgeable like you.
let me respond.
Questions.
Let me respond.
Yes,
Ibadah.
no problem.
Let me respond. Your reaction was, I don't know who it sounds like because according to my beliefs, we don't believe Jesus was crucified.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, why did Jesus and the crucifixion come in your mind when I asked you who it sounded like?
Because the Christians believe that Jesus was crucified.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does this sound like the Christians' belief
and I
of
witnessed
Jesus
that.
being crucified?
And I witnessed that reenaction over 100 times going to the Holy Lands of Jerusalem.
No, I got you.
Visiting
So
the
I'm asking
visiting the
you,
mosque. Visiting the mosque.
Does Ibadah, does this sound like
It doesn't sound like Jesus to me.
the Christian belief that Jesus was crucified? Does it like match that?
To be honest with you, it might do to you.
No,
But
I'm
to
not
me-
asking about me. I'm asking you. When
Not
you
to
hear
me,
these
no, no.
verses about
No, not to
someone
me.
who had their hands and feet pierced,
Yeah.
surrounded by their enemies, being rejected, mocked, and ridiculed,
Uh-huh.
and had their clothes stripped and gambled over. Does this sound like the Christian belief of what happened to Jesus?
The Christian belief, yes, you're right. Yes, it does.
All right. So it sounds like what happened to Jesus. Now, look, when you came up here, you said you just want to have a civil, honest
Yes.
dialogue. Okay.
100%.
So let's be honest in this dialogue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm praying that you can be honest with me.
Bro, I will.
Okay, good. So even though you don't believe that Jesus was crucified,
Mm-hmm.
it does sound like the narrative that Christians believe of Jesus being crucified, right?
The Christians believe, yes.
Okay. So here's my next question for you. This is Psalms. This is David speaking this. Do you reject what David says here?
Do I reject what David says there? In Psalms?
Yeah.
I don't believe in the Psalms, so I don't know. I don't believe in it. So
See?
how can I reject something? How can I reject something, right, that I've not gone through to read, to believe? Now, if I can ask you a question the same way, calmly, yeah? You're talking about contradictions between me and what my belief is to Christianity and what Dawood alayhi salam said before that, the scripture before that, the Zabur, yeah? Which kind of, if Dawood said that, then it means that it happened to Jesus, yeah? Because he came after, Jesus came after Dawood and whatnot, right? So Dawood was naturally talking about Jesus and stuff, yeah? Is that what you mean?
Well, it's a prophecy. But really the point of
Prophecy
this
of Dawood. Now hold on.
the point
I
of
listen to you,
this
my friend.
was
I listen to you, my friend. You're an amazing guy. So let me just finish, yeah?
okay, go ahead.
So if you're talking about those type of contradictions for something that I believe was changed, I believe the Zabur was changed. The Bible was changed. I believe that. I believe there's 450 different versions of the Bible, right?
You proved my point.
And proof of that is the contradictions within the Bible itself. Have you ever
Got you.
gone through them?
It doesn't matter. You proved my
The
point.
contradictions don't matter.
You proved
No,
as a
I didn't
Muslim-
prove. I believe in Dawood alayhi salam. brother.
Ibadah,
I believe in
Ibadah,
Dawood
I heard
alayhi
you
salam.
out. I heard you out. You just proved the point of this whole stream. Why
No.
do Muslims reject the prophets?
Nobody
And you
rejects
just
them.
proved
I
that you
believe in
reject.
Dawood alayhi salam.
Wait. You just proved that you reject the
No,
prophet.
I
Matter of
haven't.
fact, you
Don't put
said
words
it
in my mouth,
yourself.
brother.
You
Don't
said
put
it
words in
yourself
my
when I
mouth.
asked you. Let me just finish, please. When I asked you, do you accept or reject what David said here? You said, I don't believe in the Psalms. That's
I don't
the exact
believe in
words
the
that came out your
changed
mouth.
version of the Psalms. Don't put words in my mouth.
No,
The
that's exactly
changed
what you said.
version.
You said,
believe
I
in the
don't
Zabur.
believe in the Psalms.
No, I believe in the Zabur. I believe in the Bible. By the way, Muslims believe in the Bible. If you haven't understood that, my friend, because you that's the
Well, it
first thing
sounds like to me
know
you don't.
when you're debating
You said
Muslims.
you don't believe this. I just read
We
the
believe in
Bible.
the original version of the Bible, the scripture of Jesus, when Jesus came down and called himself a prophet, and
Okay.
Jesus, Mount of Olives, in the
Well,
Mount of Olives, a place where I've been
let me
to,
show you what Jesus
a
said.
place where I've been to over 100 times, the Mount of Olives. Yeah?
No. This
He
is
kneels
good.
down in the
I
Mount
like
of
this.
Olives,
Listen,
bows
this
down, and
is
prays.
what Jesus says. Ibadah.
See,
This is what Jesus says. Jesus
I
says
listen to you, my friend. All I'm going to say is I
chapter
listen to you.
22. Hold on. In Luke chapter 22, verse 44 to 46, Jesus says, it was said in the scriptures, in the Torah, in the Psalms and the prophets, that the Christ should suffer and on the third day rise again. So Jesus says that the psalm is about him.
Are you seriously? My friend,
Why do you reject not only just Jesus, but really, I'm just even keeping it simple. Why do you reject what David says here about the Messiah?
Listen, my friend, look, you're talking about a rejection of something that you believe that was written by some people, that was written by mankind. Yeah? I'm talking about God's words here.
Wasn't the Quran written by mankind?
Why are you talking about God's words?
Wasn't the Quran written by mankind?
Quran is written as in the written script. Is that what you're talking about? The written text?
Yeah, the book form.
The book, yes. Okay, but whose words are they?
Okay.
Whose words are they?
Very, very good.
Whose words
so
are they?
I could say the same. Look, I'm just showing you that this argument backfires against you. It's not a good argument.
Listen, there's 101 arguments that backfire against Christianity.
I don't believe in a book. I don't believe in that because it was written by man. Well, that would mean that you would have to drop the Quran because the Quran was written by man and you believe it.
No, not in that same.
But hold on.
Not in that same.
But you don't reject the Quran even though it was written by man.
No, come on, man. Be real.
Yeah, please stop talking over me, please.
Are you having a debate?
I'm saying again, stop talking over me while I'm talking.
No problem.
Every time I'm talking, you talk.
But then every time when I talk, don't interrupt. When I talk, don't interrupt as well. Okay.
So when you say that, yes, I believe in the Quran, even though it was written by man. Okay, I believe in the Psalms that was written, and you should believe in the Psalms, even though it was written by men. But actually, let me show you something that's special. Your Quran actually says that the Psalms was written by God himself, not by man. God, according to your Quran, is the one who wrote the Psalms. That's chapter 21, verse 105.
He gave the Psalms.
Nope, he wrote it.
He gave the Psalms.
Chapter 21, I'll read it for you.
Where are you reading it from?
From the Quran. What do you mean?
Okay, go
I'm reading it from? Do you want to read it yourself?
Yeah, which verse? Tell me, please.
Chapter 21.
Yeah.
Verse 105.
No problem. Go on. Yeah, continue. You continue with your. I'll find that. You continue.
Okay, I'll just read it.
Surely we wrote in the Psalms after the exhortation that the earth shall be inherited by my righteous servants.
Yep.
You believe that, yeah?
Oh, no, I don't believe this.
Oh, you don't believe that?
But this is what you believe.
Why are you using it as a reference point if you don't believe
because you're a Muslim. Your Quran says that God wrote the Psalms. So that means that you're supposed to believe that God wrote the Psalms, not man.
Okay. So can I ask you about your reference points now?
I mean, we're talking about my reference points, but you say you don't believe in it.
No. Can I speak about them then? Can I ask you a question?
Okay, so ask me a question about Psalm 22. Do you finally accept it now, since you know that God wrote it himself?
No, I don't believe that.
So why? So you see,
because God
Muslims
didn't write
reject the prophets.
That was changed.
What do you mean it was changed?
By the time of the Temple of Nicaea and the Babylonian period, they changed the Bible.
The Council
of
the Bible. Bro,
okay. A Muslim believes in the Bible. We believe in the Prophet Jesus. Your question up there is, why do Muslims reject the prophets? I believe in Isa. I believe in Dawood. I believe in Moses. I believe in Abraham. I believe in Adam. I believe in Noah. I believe in all of them. Ismail, Ishaq. I believe in all of them. Do you believe in Muhammad?
Okay. No.
Do you believe in Muhammad?
I do not.
Why?
You want to know why I don't believe in Muhammad?
Why?
Because he rejects the previous prophets. He contradicts them.
How?
I'll tell you how. Why is it that you don't believe that Jesus was crucified?
Well, I don't believe Jesus was crucified because God told us he wasn't crucified.
Where does he tell you that?
Through the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Boom. I got you.
And in the Quran. And in the Quran.
I know that. I got you. It's in the Quran.
Mhm.
So Muhammad brought this message in the Quran, and in the Quran it says Jesus was not crucified. So therefore, you believe that because Muhammad brought that message.
Yeah.
Well, Muhammad
100%.
is contradicting what Jesus said, what Daniel said, what Moses said, what
Where did he say that?
David
In the Bible?
said, what Isaiah says, what
Okay, where did
Jeremiah
he say that?
says,
In the
what
Bible?
Ezekiel says. He contradicts what they say because I just read you that David himself says that the Messiah is going to be crucified.
My brother, where did he say that? In the Bible?
I'll do it again.
No, did he say that in the Bible?
Yes, I'll do it again.
In the Bible, right? Yeah.
For dogs encompass me, a company of evildoers encircles me. They have pierced my hands and my feet.
My brother, you just mentioned about Muhammad rejecting all of those prophets. Where did he
Yes,
reject those?
yes.
From the
He
Bible,
rejects
right?
so remember what you said. Understand where I'm coming from, bro. Remember, we established that you cannot say that you believe in the prophets while also rejecting what they say. You was like, yeah, of course. We agree on that foundation together.
Yes.
So if Muhammad rejects what the prophets said and contradicts what they said, he's a false prophet and goes against them.
Can I ask you a question now?
Sure.
Right. Thank you so much. And listen, you've been kind, yeah. So I'm cool with this, yeah. I'm not here to try. There's no compulsion in religion, by the way, right?
Yeah, we just having a good passionate talk.
Because the guy before, I listened to him while I was looking at your thing. Yeah, he was all about Muslims are trying to push like the religion like onto people and this and that, blah blah blah. Look, he came from Afghanistan. He's got his own story. Sold his soul for a passport, whatever it is. We've been through all that, right? I got nothing to say about him. But from the point when you started talking about people, how we're trying to push the agenda onto others and whatnot to make sure they become Muslims and whatnot, that's not what Islam is about. There's no compulsion in religion.
I would argue that it is, but that's not our topic for now.
Yeah, but okay. Now, the amazing thing about yourself is, which is really good, you quote from the Bible. Yeah? So help me out with this. You might start saying, this guy's found the contradictions in the Bible and whatnot, right? But
I hope that you're not switching topics.
If I found contradictions in the Bible, which is your source of claiming that this happened and
why are you switching topics?
I'm not. We're going back to the same. You said that you find everything from the Bible, right?
Well, we're specifically talking about.
So I'm trying to say to you, there's faults in that Bible.
We're specifically talking about David prophesying what would happen to the Messiah, and Muhammad and Muslims rejecting what.
And I'm
David
saying
says.
that prophecy is incorrectly written in that Bible, in the Psalms. It's
what is your evidence of this?
The evidence is many evidences here. I'll ask you, in the Bible, who incited David to count the fighting men of Israel?
Wait, excuse me. You're talking about the fighting men of Israel has nothing to do with Psalms 22. Can you demonstrate to me that in Psalms 22 what I read does not belong?
I'm demonstrating to you that the Bible is fallible. The Bible of today is fallible. Right?
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
The source of information you have is fallible.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
So with you saying that the source of information is infallible, I need you to demonstrate to me that Psalm 22 here, that explicitly talks about the crucifixion of the Messiah, is fallible. Show me how this right here is fallible.
Your source is fallible. Sorry?
Do you know what the Bible is?
I've come to a Christian, so I'm learning from the Christian, right?
Do you know what a Bible? If you don't know,
I know what a Bible is. Yes.
You do? All right. What is the Bible?
A Bible. What, your version or my version? Look, I don't mean to be rude, bro. Like your version. Or my version?
You're just being dishonest. That's all.
No, I'm not. Wallahi, I'm not, bro. I swear, I'm not.
So, do you know what the Bible is?
Okay, you tell me.
The Bible is a collection of books.
Oh, okay. You mean the breakdown?
It's a library.
Yeah. Like
so, for example, within the Bible, you have the Torah. Within the Bible, you also have the Psalms. Within the Bible, you also have the Gospel.
Yes.
Within the Bible, you also have the writings of other prophets and the apostles. Understand what I'm saying? It's a collection of all of these books. Okay.
Are they all right?
All right, good. So what I'm quoting is from the book of Psalms, the Zabur. The Zabur itself is the source. Okay. Can you show me that the Psalms that I'm quoting is fallible?
Where you're quoting?
Yeah, because First Kings or the book
but you're
of
asking me something. I'll give you
Jeremiah
an answer
has
to.
nothing to do with the scroll
me-
of Psalms.
But you're giving me a response to something that I find that, look, if I find a whole reference point fallible,
My reference point is the scroll of Psalms.
the whole Bible. If I find the whole Bible fallible, do you believe all the books in the Bible are truth? By the way,
All of them are true.
okay,
It has
but
nothing to do with what I'm quoting to you about the book of Psalms. For some reason, you want to run away from the book of Psalms.
No. Listen, mate. Listen. For some reason, you're attached to the book of Psalms. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's what I started with. I'm a very focused man.
I'm trying to get you out of that box. I'm trying to get you out of that box by explaining to you. Listen, step out of that box for a second. If I'm saying to you, listen.
No, we're not stepping out of any box.
Okay, if I'm stating to you, right? You're telling me about a source and a reference point from the Bible, which you have found, from the Psalms you have found, right? And you're telling me, why do I not believe in that? Yeah? Yes or no?
No.
And by not believing that,
you already told me why.
By not believing in that,
you said that David in Psalm 22, that this was not said, that this is a corruption or something. So I'm asking you to show me from the Psalms how it's fallible.
Why don't you let me get to that point? The point is this.
I've been asking it for the past, 8 minutes now?
I find the whole book fallible.
The whole book has nothing to do with Psalms, the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms is its own book.
The whole book, the whole Bible, this version, this day and age, is completely fallible. It's got so many contradictions.
So what? So, all right.
So many contradictions. Left, right, center. So why should I believe in that verse?
If your Quran, I'm sorry. If the book of Psalms, the entire book of Psalms, is fallible, why does your Quran quote it?
Why does the Quran quote the book of Psalms? The Quran doesn't it's.
I just read you the verse.
Is surely we wrote in the Psalms after the exhortation that the earth shall be inherited by my righteous servant.
It's quoting Psalm 37:9.
Hold on.
What do you mean? Hold on. That's it.
Hold on. That version was correct. That was a Zabur.
That version was correct. This is the same Psalms that I have today.
Got changed over time by mankind.
It's the same Psalms that I have today.
So the Psalms have got no other contradictions in it, yeah?
No.
None. Whatsoever.
None. Zero. Zilch.
Mate, I'm trying to explain to you there's so many contradictions in the Bible itself here.
I don't care. Let's say every other book in the Bible is fallible. It has a contradiction. So what? I'm talking about the book of Psalms.
So you want a contradiction in the book of Psalms only?
No, I want you to demonstrate that what I just read to you is fallible.
Because the whole Bible is fallible, fam. Why do you understand that?
All right, my friend. You know what? I think that we have reached the limit of our conversation. Honestly.